because India faces multiple security challenges, especially from its eastern neighbor, China. Tensions on the border are rising again. China is expanding its military infrastructure, and now Xi Jinping is expanding the powers of his military. China's president has signed new orders. Chinese mouthpieces are talking about them. Xi signs outlines that direct China's military operations other than war. That is the headline of the Global Times. Chinese military operations other than war. That's what they're talking about. Xi Jinping has set out the rules for such operations, and the world has reason to worry. Reports say the Chinese president has signed as many as 59 articles. Xi Jinping is effectively legalizing the PLA's foreign military operations of the Chinese army. What will be the nature of these operations? The Global Times has offered some clues. Allow me to quote from their story. This is what the Global Times has said. Chinese troops can prevent spillover effects of regional instabilities from affecting China, secure vital transport routes for strategic materials like oil, or safeguard China's overseas investments, projects and personnel. That is the official line from Beijing. Now let me tell you what this statement really means. It justifies any Chinese military mission abroad. So if there are Chinese citizens abroad, and if China feels that they're under threat, then they can send troops to another country. If Beijing feels Chinese infrastructure is at risk, the PLA can be deployed. China can now justify deploying troops abroad to even guard oil. Now, this might not sound like a big deal. Any country with a large presence abroad, like China, would like to protect its interests, and why not? The Chinese press makes it sound like a harmless proposal. They call it non-war military operations. But you see, euphemisms do not change facts. Look at Russia. They still don't call it a war. What they're doing in Ukraine is still, according to them, a special military operation. That's what Vladimir Putin calls it, not a war, a military operation. Xi Jinping is trying the same trick. Experts believe China could be borrowing the same terminology. You see, Chinese and Russian forces are masters of such tactics. Experts call it grey zone warfare. Now, what is grey zone warfare? It's actions and tactics that fall short of a conventional war, but hurt the enemy nonetheless. The objective is to subdue the opponent through a number of small victories over a period of time. And usually this is accomplished through small military operations, the ones that use limited military resources. China has practiced all of this in Taiwan. The PLA regularly conducts incursions and missions. Chinese planes, in fact, violate Taiwan's air defense zone all the time. They do the same with India. Chinese military activities near the border with India fit the definition of grey zone warfare. Beijing amassed troops near the border in Ladakh without any provocation in 2020. Soldiers of the PLA attacked Indian troops without warning. 2 years later, the Chinese are ramping up their military infrastructure in the same area. Xi Jinping, in fact, is keeping a close eye on the border with India. Recently, the Chinese president traveled to Chengdu. This city, Chengdu, is the headquarters of the PLA's Western Theatre Command. They look after the border with India. Chengdu is an important city for the PLA. It serves as a launch pad for their activities in Tibet and Xinjiang. What was Xi Jinping doing there? Reports say he met with the top brass of the Western Theatre Command. Xi Jinping also wants to keep the generals in check. He recently tweaked a few rules. Low-ranked officers have been given more powers. They have been empowered to supervise the senior brass. Reports say the move is aimed at securing the military's loyalty to Xi Jinping, powers to conduct foreign operations, and expanding military infrastructure, and the demands to pledge loyalty. Xi Jinping basically wants his military to take on a bigger responsibility to achieve his mission of global dominance. And this only escalates the threat of conflict. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.